Welcome to sportsbookraeview.com. I'm Flash, and this is going to be your home for the NPB. Now, if you don't know what that is, the Nippon Professional Baseball in Japan. 120 games. I think we've had maybe 3, so there's 117 to go. Jason Radowitz, he's been our maestro in Taiwan and South Korea. We've got rid of Taiwan, the CPBL, but we're going to stay with the KBO. That will be at the end. But first of all, we're going to go through the Pacific Division and the Central Division and make you aware of some of the teams. But first of all, let's do a bit of a housekeeping. And if you like this video, then please subscribe, press the button, ring the bell. Ring the bell. We can then notify you and you will never miss any content again. And if you press the link in the description, then you'll go over to Jay's articles, and not just Jay's articles, there'll be other writers on all the sports. You'll have a great time over there, but please subscribe. It makes our job a lot easier when I go to the bosses and say, we want to do more baseball shows. Jay, hope you had a great weekend. I know you went 3-0 in the, should we call it the NPB or should we call it Japanese baseball?
Yeah, I mean, whatever's easier for you. I think Japanese is easier. NPB is just a lot of letters that are just hard to pronounce that together. But either way, this league has been treating me well in the first 3 games of the season. We're looking at lines that aren't juiced yet, so there's so much value to be won in these games. So that's the most fun part about a new league starting. We see how the CPBL, for instance, we had games where teams were minus 300, minus 400, when it shouldn't even been like that far. So yeah, it's a lot of fun with the new league, and we're definitely gonna get some wins in here.
The CPBL, that won't be mentioned again because that's like the old ex-wife. We leave her right over there. They've served their purpose. We've got a nice new shiny wife. And I'm going to call it the JBL, the Japanese Baseball League. Obviously, it is the NPB. But we've got to be careful here because we've got the Eagles. We've got the Giants, the Tigers. We've got the Lions. But also, we've got like the Rakuten Eagles. So that's a crossbreed between the Rakuten Monkeys and the Hanwha Eagles. I hope they're more like the Monkeys than they are the Eagles. But let's start in the Pacific Division, okay? They're going to start off with a 6-game series. So obviously they cut down all the travelling. And the teams are the Marines, the Eagles, the Lions, the Hawks, the Fighters, and the Buffaloes. Tell us a little bit about this Pacific Division, please, Jay.
Yeah, this division is pretty crazy. Just knowing that we're going to see 6 games per for this entire week, they're going to be staying in the same stadium. They're going to be playing in the same teams. You're going to see a pitcher perform twice in one series, which is just ridiculous to think about. Right now, I think what we've seen is right now the Pacific, their pitching is really good. Their hitting is really bad. At least that's what it looks like in the first 3 games. The team with the highest average in the Pacific has just a .237 average in the first 3 games. That's the Orix Buffaloes, who just had 1 hit in their first game of the season against the Eagles. So they had a couple good hits, and their average got a little higher in the last 2 games over the Rakuten Eagles. They're still 1-2 for the .237 average. So we're seeing in the Pacific League there's a lot more really good pitching and a lot worse hitting in this league so far.
Okay, and then we've got the Central Division, but they're only going to play 3-game series. And we've got the Swallows, the BayStars, the Giants, the Carp, the Dragons, and the Tigers. So basically, we're going to have 2 groups of 6, and we're going to have 3 games in each division. I know that my man Freddie, he's already stuck up the first game. He's so quick, it's unbelievable. So first of all, before we go on to that first game, we're looking at the only unbeaten side is in the Central Division, and that's the Yomiuri Giants.
Yeah, the Yomiuri Giants are playing the Hiroshima Carp in this game. What's interesting is right now Chris Johnson's going to take the mound for Hiroshima Carp, and yeah, he's kind of been interesting throughout his career in the NPB. He's 57-30, the 2.54 ERA in the NPB. But then you have Shioshi Togo, who's a rookie for Yomiuri Giants. He pitched in 1 game last year. He struck out. He averaged 11.4 strikeouts per 9 innings, and looked fabulous in that game. Or he pitched in 2 games.
Jay, don't go into it.
.08 ERA.
Don't be giving any selections for this game because this is the last game. I just wanted to know about the only unbeaten side. It's all right. I know you're raring to go.
Okay.
And honestly, if that was 100 meters, I'd be giving you an official warning of a false start.
Fair enough. Yeah, they've been hitting the ball. They have a .301 average on the season. Really good pitching right now throughout the first 3 games. So they've looked really good. One of the better teams in the league. They're supposed to be the #1 team in the Central League. So yeah, the Giants are one of the teams to beat in this league for sure.
Okay, then let's go back then to the Pacific Division. It's game 1 of 6, and we're going to go with the Chiba Marines and the Orix Buffaloes. You can go now.
Here we go. So try to make this as quick as possible with all these games going on. But Orix Buffaloes are going to be pitching a recognizable pitcher, Andrew Albers. I think he's pitched in the majors a couple of times here and there, but he never really made it in that league, in the MLB. He went 2-6 last season in the league and had a 5.83 ERA, allowed 6.25 runs per 9 innings. He wasn't very good, allowed 11.9 hits per 9 innings. So yeah, he's pretty shaky, even though we always talk about how import pitchers are better to back in these situations. It looks like more in Japan, the Japanese pitchers are a lot better than the Korean pitchers, just in terms of performance. So Kota Futaki of the Marines, he went 7-10 last year, had a 4.41 ERA and a 4.76 runs allowed per 9 innings in 22 games last season. He struck out 8 batters per 9, allowed just 2.1 walks per 9, and also 8.9 hits. So he allowed a little bit less in terms of hits per 9 innings, and had a whip that was a little bit lower as well. Neither guy will walk too many batters, but Albers with a 6.25 runs allowed per 9 innings, that scares me so much. So I really like the Marines at -140 as an official play. So the Chiba Lotte Marines at -140. We would also look at the over in that game as a lean around 8.5. I thought it hit 9 on one book. So yeah, definitely want to look at that. But I would look at over with these pitchers not pitching too well.
So would you say that the MPB is like a step up from the CPBL and the KBO?
Yeah, you know what's interesting is what I've kind of seen is in the KBO, we've seen younger guys going to the league trying to resurrect their careers to go back into the MLB. Well, here, looks like we're seeing more 37-year-olds, 36, 35 guys that are kind of ending up their career in the MPB so that they can keep playing professional baseball. So it looks like we're seeing more like guys like Adam Jones, who played for the Orioles as an all-star, guys like Justin Bohr, who played for the Marlins and a couple other teams. Guys like them, Gerardo Parra, they're kind of finishing up their career and they're trying to play more professionally. They're not trying to go back into the MLB later.
Yeah, and listen, I love all that because people don't realise. They think they're just coming on the gravy train to get a last payday. But really what's in the thoughts of the management and the organisation is that they're going to inspire and maybe teach and pass on a bit of experience to the younger guys, which is obviously going to give a stronger foundation to the organisation as a whole. Go to the next one. It's the Rakuten Eagles and the Nippon Fighters, Jay.
So Nippon Ham Fighters are not supposed to be that good, but yeah, they won they're 2-1 in those 3 games. The Rakuten Eagles are supposed to be the best team in the league. They're 2-1 on the season, but the problem is if you look at their stats to begin the first weekend series, they're hitting just 204 average, so they're just getting 20% of hits in these games. And they had one really good inning, was the 7th or 8th inning in the first game of the series. They scored like 7 or 8 runs against the bullpen in that game. But since then, their offense has been really quiet, hasn't done too well. So it's a little scary. But Nick Martinez will take the mound for the Nippon Ham Fighters, and we're seeing a lot more import pitchers in this series compared to the last series. So we're seeing more of these import pitchers. They're pitching as the number 4 and number 5 guys, not the number 1, 2, or 3 guys. So keep that in mind as we go over these games. But Martinez doesn't have high strikeout numbers. He's winning about he's winning about 500 games, like .500. So he's winning half of games. He has a higher whip and a higher hit per nine compared to Hayoto Huge of the Rakuten Eagles. He went 3-3 last year in 8 games started. He did have one complete game shutout in those 8 games. He won't walk too many batters. Has 7.1 strikeout per nine, and his whip is about the same as Martinez. But Rakuten Eagles, their hitting's just .204 in those first 3 games. They're supposed to be a lot better in terms of hitting. I do expect them to perform better against Martinez, who's allowed 3.84 runs per 9 innings last season. It's a tough game. I like the under as well. I'd lean on Rakuten at -110. I'd also lean towards under 8.5. Both offenses, like I said, they've been really quiet, but the Rakuten Eagles are supposed to be a much better offensive team throughout the season, and they've also pitched pretty well, more so than the Nippon Fighters. So, yeah, I would lean towards Rakuten. I'd also lean towards 8.5, but I'm not going to make an official play on this game.
Okay, and as obviously potentially we've got 11 games. If I say to you a game and it's just a pass because you've got nothing on it, then just say no, pass, pass. I'm not interested, and we'll revisit it tomorrow, or maybe Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. But the Chiba Lions versus the Fukuoka Hawks.
Yeah, so this is one I do have a play on. I have an official play with the Hawks at -125. I'd also lean towards 8.5 in this matchup. We have a familiar name, Matt Moore, on the mound. He was a big prospect for the Tampa Bay Rays. He actually pitched a lot of games in the major leagues. He actually had success in the major leagues before now moving on into the NPB after a couple of shaky seasons towards the end of his career in the MLB. But if you look at his minor league numbers, this is his first season in the NPB. If you look at his minor league numbers, he had a 2.74 ERA throughout his minor leagues. He had a 12.5 strikeout per nine and 3.7 walks per nine, allowed just 0.5 home runs per nine and 6.4 hits per nine. I love Moore in this spot. I think he's going to perform really well in the NPB. I think this is the perfect spot for him. And so he's going up against Kona Takahashi. Takahashi doesn't have high strikeout numbers. He also allowed 15 unearned runs in his starts last year. So we know that the fielding hasn't been great behind him. And he's also allowed hard hit balls with 10.5 hits per 9 innings in his starts last season. Seibu's offense has been really quiet, and it won't be much better with Moore on the mound. So official play Hawks -125 and lean towards under 8.5 in that matchup.
So it's under 8.5. And I must apologise for rubbing my eye, but we've got the air conditioning on, the blowers on in here. And obviously it's a Monday, so it's blowing the dust around and it's going right in my eye. And so if I keep winking, it's because I like you. No, you know that. It's because I've got dust in my eye. Okay, let's go to the Central Division, game 1 of 3. And I think at the moment my eyes are good. Okay, Yakult Swallows versus the Hanshin Tigers, please, Jay.
So this is probably the game, the worst series of the 3 in this league. We have the Hanshin Tigers are 0-3, and then we have the Yakult Swallows at 1-2. My official play on this game will be Hanshin at -110. The 0-3 Hanshin Tigers at -110 against the Yakult Swallows. The Swallows were the worst team in the league last season. They've added some better talent this season, but they're still projected to be the worst team in the league. They're also pitching Gabriel Noah. He was actually a former prospect of the New York Mets for a little bit of time. I think he pitched for the Orioles before he ended up in the NPB. This is his first season in the NPB, but in his foreign games, he's pitched in 10 foreign games. He's 0-4 with a 6.34 ERA, allowed 6.81 runs per 9 innings, doesn't have high strikeout numbers, and allowed 12.2 hits per 9 innings, which is just horrendous. And then you're going against Hanshin's KO Aoyagi. He went 9-9 last year, had a 3.14 ERA and a 3.52 runs allowed per 9 innings in 25 games. He doesn't have high strikeout numbers either, but he definitely kept his ERA down. His whip was a lot lower, allowed less hits. And like I said, Hanshin, they're not hitting too well. Right now, they're hitting 189. They hit like 250 last year. They're not this bad. Their hitting will be better. They played against the Giants, who are 3-0. They have really good pitching staff over at the Giants, but Yakult Swallows do not have the Giants pitching staff. But if you look at the Hanshin Tigers. They have some good bats in their lineup, guys that you're familiar with from the major leagues. Jeffrey Marty, Justin Bohr, Kazuki Fukudomi. So they have some guys that you'll remember in the major leagues. They're going to perform. They're going to hit better. And so I do expect them to hit a lot better in this game. In this series, I like Hanshin minus 110. And I'd lean towards over 8.5 since we're in the Central Division with a lot more hitting going on.
Okie What about the Yokohama BayStars versus the Chunichi Dragons?
So yeah, this game I don't have a play on. I would lean towards the BayStars at minus 135 in this one. Also lean towards over 8.5. Yeah, this is another tough one. We have two pretty solid pitchers on the mound, except that both these teams are hitting the ball really well also. So yeah, that's why I'm staying away from this game completely. You'll see that the Dinos team, the guy's very erratic. He has high strikeout numbers, also has high walk numbers, but I think his strikeout numbers will look really good. Both guys have solid whips. So yeah, I'm staying away from this game, but if I were to make a play, it would be the BayStars in this one.
Okay, well, let's go on to the unbeaten Yomiuri Giants and the Hiroshima Carp.
Yeah, you can't go away from the Giants right here. I'd lean towards Giants minus 120. Also lean towards under 8.5. The Giants are, like you said, undefeated. They're hitting above 300 in terms of average. They have 4 home runs in 3 games, and their team ERA is 1.33 in those 3 games. They're pitching a rookie pitcher against an import pitcher for Hiroshima with Chris Johnson on the mound, who's familiar with the league. He's been there before. But a rookie pitcher like Togo, there's a lot of things there's a lot of really high, analysis on the guy. So I'll go with the Giants minus 120 as a lean and under 8.5 as a lean as well.
Okay, let's get this straight out of the way. Dinos. We sorted out that was going to be the Dinos. You're saying Hiroshima. I'm going to go with Hiroshima. What are we going to go with, Jay?
Hiroshima sounds better, but
Hiroshima it is. No worries. Hiroshima it is. On we go now. That's 2, by the way, that I've buckled and gone with yours. Now, KBO. We've got the WIZ and the Dinos.
Yeah, the WIZ and the Dinos. This is the best matchup of the morning in the KBO. We've got 2 pitchers, Drew Ruzinski and Orix Despande on the mound. We've always talked about this, how Despande pitches a lot better on 4 days rest. Another day, 4 days rest for him. He had a 2.18 ERA on 4 days rest. So I love this game, but it's going to be hard to actually figure out who's going to win. So I would lean towards the Dinos at minus 165. I also lean towards under 9.5 in this matchup with 2 imported pitchers going against each other. They both have FIPs under 4. I like this game to hit the under, but again, it's a lean for me with 2 solid hitting teams going up against each other and 2 really good pitchers going up against each other.
Rude juice. Rude. What, minus 165? I've just heard you go through 6 games and we had nowhere near minus 165. All of a sudden, the Dinos, who have not been absolutely great form themselves, minus 165. That's rude. Now, what about the Twins and the Heroes?
Yeah, so Twins and Heroes, this is another really fun one. LG is actually going to be pitching a rookie pitcher. This will be his first start of the KBO season. He pitched in relief. 8 games, 8.1 innings pitched. Has a 7.56 ERA, but his FIP is a lot lower at 4.15, going over against Kiwoom. Kiwoom's got Choi Won-tae on the mound. He's got a 4.34 ERA and a 4.56 FIP. Kiwoom hasn't really impressed me that much. They've won most games. I don't know. Both these pitchers have kind of fair FIPs. I do think LG has the better offense, so 100%. I would lean towards LG plus 116, and I might make this an official play on Twitter the more I read about it, because really at plus 116 for the LG Twins, I mean, we both know that we've both been really high in the LG Twins. The LG Twins will be home in this one, and we've seen that Kim Yoon-suk for LG. He's got a 7.56 ERA, but he's got a 4.15 FIP, so he's been a lot better than his stats really show. So I think he'll perform well in this matchup. I think the LG Twins, they do have some injuries on their lineup, but they still do have Roberto Ramos on their team right now. I just think that Twins at home against Kiwoom. There's value there. No matter who's injured on the LG Twins in their lineup, they have enough guys that can hit. And I think that this rookie pitcher is a little bit better than I think people want to give him credit for throughout his first 8 games in relief.
Well, that's the only reason we're getting plus money. It's as simple as that, because LG Twins are probably the second best side, and they may well turn out to be the best side. So good luck to the debutant. We're going to be having a little piece here. Let's hope he starts. Listen, it's so often that someone debutant in sport, they have an outstanding game. If it's soccer or football, they score. If it's NFL, they get a touchdown or a completion. So for me, come on the LG Twins, and good luck to the debutant. That takes me on to the Giants versus the Tigers, Jay.
Yeah, it's another official play here. Got the Kia Tigers at around -165. I'd also lean towards 9.5 in this matchup. Aaron Brooks, he's lowered his FIP to now 2.99. So his ERA is a 3. Now his FIP is a 2.99, which is basically saying that Brooks is what he is. And what he is has been really, really good. So he's only allowed 16 earned runs in 8 games started. He has 1 complete game, but that complete game was just 5 innings in a rain now, so it doesn't really count. But that's just how the stats are. But anyway, CU June 1 is going for Lotte. Has a 3.71 ERA, but a 5.57 FIP. He pitched really bad against Kia in his first outing against them, allowed 7 runs in 4 innings. And then he was thrown out of the game. He was done. So I like Kia to not score 7 runs in this game against CU June 1, but I do think they'll score more. Brooks will keep him in the game. I think Kia will win on the road against the Lotte Giants, who, like we know, they played really well at home. They won their last homestand. They went 6-0 in that homestand. But Kia's a different animal. They have really good pitching, and their hitting does enough with their pitching. And with Brooks on the mound, I'm going with Kia at -165 as an official play.
Okay, then we've got the Samsung Lions versus the Hanwha Eagles. Now, Blind Man says Samsung Lions. We've always said be careful of the Lions. And then when we came off air on Friday, what did Hanwha go and do? They went and won and beat the Dinos.
Yeah, that's going to be how Hanwha's going to be for the rest of the year. They're going to come out, win 1 game, lose 4, win 1 game, lose 4. I like Samsung in this one by -200. It's a lean, but again, it could possibly be a potential play later on at -1.5 if I end up taking it. The only reason why I'm not taking it is because Samsung is -200 and not anything better. Because we know Samsung, they'll have their games where they look like Hanwha, then they'll have their games where they look like the Dinos. So we don't really know what we're going to expect. Chad Bell is on the mound for the Hanwha Eagles, has an 8.44 ERA, a 6.84 FIP. We're waiting for the day for Chad Bell to just perform. And he didn't pitch that bad last season. He looks terrible this season. We just saw that Jared Hoying of the Hanwha Eagles just got released. Their import outfielder, he is now out. They're bringing in a new player who won't be there for another 2 weeks to 4 weeks minimum because he has to quarantine. So now they're without an import bat. And Hoying seemed like he was the one guy that was actually performing at times. So, yeah, I like Samsung here. They're going with Choi Chae-hong, another lefty pitcher. He's got a 4.41 ERA and then a 5.44 FIP. His whip's a lot better. I go over 10.5, though. Both of these pitchers have an FIP of over 5. So I like the over here, but both the offenses haven't been that great either. So I like to say how bad pitching against bad offense usually does better. So I'll go with the bad offense and take the over. But yeah, that's another really tough one.
And what is the number? Over what?
10.5. It's heavy.
Yeah, it is too heavy. It is too heavy. What about the Wyverns and the Bears? That's our last game in the KBO, Jay.
Yeah, this one, I'm glad you saved it for last because in my article, I gave literally 6 different ways that you can bet the Bears and win. So now don't even double dip, triple dip. You can even quadruple dip. I don't even know what number 5 and number 6 dips are, but you can do all of them because the Doosan Bears should absolutely smoke the SK Wyverns in this one, which means that I'm probably going to be wrong. Because
I was going to say, get your money on the Wyverns.
Whatever. Either way, if you want to fade me. I hope you lose if you fade me. Either way, Chris Buxton on the mound for the Doosan Bears, 3.29 ERA and a 3.73 FIP. The Doosan Bears So getting their infielders back. They're also on the road where they've been absolutely smoking the ball. They're going up against Kim Tae-hoon, who's got 23 walks and just 20 strikeouts on the season, has a 4.74 ERA, 4.74 ERA, a 5.24 FIP. Doosan is 18-5-1 in road games with the over, and they also just smack left-handed pitching on the road and also smacked on the road. So Doosan minus 1.5 at around minus 120. You can take, excuse me, you can take Doosan over team total at 5.5. You can take Doosan to score first and win the game. You can take under SK 4.5 with Flexen on the mound. You can do all these things, and I can't guarantee it, but I'm almost positive they'll come out in the green for sure.
The team total of 5.5 over that, that's screaming at you. That's like last week when we said go with the LG Twins. It was like, you've got to go with it. I think the 5.5 is the first thing you do, and then the minus 1.5 at minus 120. So give me a little recap, but just recap your official plays. If people want to go with the leans, then they can watch the whole video.
Sweet. So we're going to go Hanshin Tigers minus 110 over the Yakult Swallows as an official play. Another official play will be the SoftBank Hawks minus 125 over the Seibu Lions. Then we'll take the Lotte Marines at minus 140 against the Orix Buffaloes as another official play. In the KBO, we'll do an official play with Kia Tigers at minus 165 over the Lotte Giants. Then we'll go with the LG Twins at plus 116 as a potential official play. You'll have to check my Twitter if I actually go with it, but I think I'm going to after all. That'll be an official play over the Kiwoom Heroes at plus 116. Also an official play with Doosan Bears minus 1.5, minus 120 on the juice over the SK Wyverns. And potentially looking at Samsung, but the line is minus 200, so probably not. But if it's lower, I'd look at it as another official play against the Hanwha Eagles. But yeah, probably not yet. So that's that.
Okay, well, if you like this video, then please subscribe, press the button, ring the bell. If you ring the bell, then we can notify you and you'll never miss any content again. Also, put your thumbs up. Shows a bit of appreciation to Jay. Now he's ditched Taiwan. He's gone to Japan. It's like going from League 3 to the Premier League or maybe the Championship, because obviously MLB will be the Premier League. Also, if you press the link in the description, you can then go over and read Jay's article, and not just Jay's article. There's other writers for other sports. Enjoy. Obviously, all these names, they will become in household. Just give us a week or two and we will be absolutely flying. But Jay, good luck. Let's hope we get off to a runner. But I'm loving the Doosan Bears team total over 5.5.
Yeah, Doosan's definitely the banker. Any of those plays, I would agree, are the banker. So anything Doosan is bank material. For you and I, we both agree on that. That's the banker. And if you want to see PBL play, I would definitely recommend the Guardians in that matchup, but you can go to my Twitter and you can see my analysis on there as I laid it out for you guys.
Yeah, you can't let go, can you? You cannot let go. You have to bring it back. Anyway, listen, Jay, Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll be here. You take care,
I'm excited, yeah.
Good luck, Jay.
Let's do it. Be good.
So that's it. We're off and running in the MPB. JBL, KBO. See you tomorrow. You take care.